Welcome to Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings, with me, Gretta Chamberlain, and the Realm of Beings. Shifting Impressions, which is one of the vehicles that supports the transmission of the Realm of Beings, is here to assist you in delving into your being by providing numerous topics and discussions for you to intake as you deepen your connection with your inner world. Shifting Impressions is here to assist you in strengthening yourself as you excavate to understand your true nature. Join us today and learn to shift your mindset, shift your thoughts, and shift your focus to recreate your life and produce a new you. Shifting Impressions starts now.
In the final analysis, we must shift our notions about being an incidental aberration of a lifeless universe. Life might just be an emerging property of existence. We ourselves are part of the mystery that we are trying to solve.
Welcome to Shifting Impressions. This is part 2 of our special episode with our guest, Alan Steinfeld, author of Making Contact. If you saw last week's episode, you know that we are still discussing his book. This was, again, another line from his book.
Well, I wrote that because we are conditioned to think life is a freak. It's an accident. That we live in a lifeless universe. That's the brainwashing. And what if we change that to think that maybe we're living in a life-full universe? Doesn't that give who we are more value? Doesn't it give life itself more value? Doesn't it give existence more value? We're not a freak of nature. Each one of us. We're a gift. We're here to do something that will evolve the universe, not to take from it. So we're here for giving, not forgetting, So that's why we've incarnated here. And that is why, like I said in the last show, we're in such exciting times because everything's about to change. People are waking up to new realities, and it's exactly the work that Greta's been doing for so long. These are the realities people will understand, truly exist, but they have to be educated. So this program that all of you are doing is about education. About learning who we are, learning the nature of reality. That's why I wrote this book, because I know there's more out there. And all you have to do is have one little experience, one outer body, one glimpse of a vision, the moment of Kundalini awakening, whatever it is. It's like, wow, no one told me about this. We're telling you about it. And other people too. But something else is going on. It's not in the history books. It's not in your, education. It's not in your religion. It's not on television, on media. It's here right now in each one of us. And isn't that exciting, girls?
Yeah, that reminded me of that song by Gil Scott-Heron, "The Revolution Will Not Be Televised." We'll say the transformation will not be televised, but it's coming to you. Go ahead,
Absolutely.
Greta.
Absolutely. I just wanted to say, Alan, that one of the mandates of the three gods, like her talk talks about the three gods that created this universe. And when I read that from him, I realized it resonated with me. And through my work, I've been able to interact with that. But it's in keeping with that quote that you said and what you just spoke about, because the mandate is for the entire universe to be in unconditional love. That is one of the mandates of this universe. And we've been working for years now trying to deal with that. One of my travels was to, and then I want to get to your comments about it, was to the Universal Federation, because I was given the task to assist in bringing unconditional love to this entire universe. So we've gotten it down to, it was 14%, and then it became 9%. I'll talk about that with you when you and I meet again. But it's down to 9%. Now, 9% sounds like a very small number, but when you think of it in terms of millions and trillions of individuals who are sentient beings, who are contributing to the welfare of this universe, then 9% can be very, very big. And I always say to people, Earth is part of the 9%. It's still part of that 9%. So what do you think that we can do as a collective group or a collective consciousness and as individuals to support the mandate of unconditional love through this entire universe, and especially on planet Earth, because everybody's thinking Earth.
The interesting thing is we come from unconditional love. We come into this world of density to realize where we came from. And I think we had to be in a world where love was conditional or non-existent at all. So we would then seek what we really are. You know, we come in forgetting. So we come into this density of, you know, there's love, but, you know, if you could find it, that's great. But in order to really appreciate unconditional love and really want it and really hold the vibration at that frequency, we have to know what it's not and forget. And the big cycle is returning from where we came and knowing ourselves for the first time. That's a quote by T.S. Eliot. So we're waking up, some of us, the fact that, yes, we are unconditional love. And isn't it awful not to be unconditional love? And it's not awful. It's just a matter of existence. But to know what we really are, we have to know what we're not. And that's the lessons of humanity. That's why this is the schoolhouse for very low density. And we will only really appreciate something, once it's not there. And once we get it again, it's like, oh, that's right. So it empowers unconditional love in a way like, oh yeah, it's all unconditional love, isn't that beautiful? But no, working for it, striving for it, learning the lessons of conditional love or just unconditional not love, and then pushing towards something that is so ephemeral and etheric, and yet going towards that goal, holding on to that truth, puts us through this process of awakening. And on a soul level, we grow and learn those lessons. Your soul is here to learn the lessons. And when it does, it gains wisdom. But it only gains wisdom through experience. If you don't have the experience of unconditional or conditional not love, when you get it, you appreciate it. And we're moving into that. And it's an acceleration. It's like watching water boil. First there's a little bubble there, then there and there. Well, the whole pot's going to blow over soon. So, but we're in that process of going from liquid to gas.
I know that part of the work of this mandate, there is a planet that's here within this universe that was set aside for sentient individuals of various types. It almost looks like when you look at Star Wars and you go into the bar scenes and you see all the different types of cognitive species walking around. Well, that's what it's like. And it's there, the universe, the three gods requested that to be done so that it could show all members of the universe that regardless of what species you were, regardless of what individual that you are, that we can all get together and be in peace and be in unconditional love. So that planet is there, and people, individuals, some are people, some are of various types, and they're showing the entire universe how we can operate in acceptance. Now, at one time, there became battles over that because some of the parts of the universe did not want unconditional love. So, consequently, they did not want that planet to be visible and to be used as an example of oneness. So they did attack it. There were people here on Earth would not necessarily be privy to that, but it was an attack, and I don't like the word battles, but that's the best way I can explain it at that time. So, but now, and different species attacked that planet. Some of them that even got together, Alan, of different species, different warships, and so forth, coming to attack that that planet. I know my husband and my children that are on that planet were some of the members that have been dealing with bringing unconditional love to the universe, and Datar is very instrumental in doing that work as well. But it's really, I implore everyone, our visiting audience, those who have been with us all this time, who come and listen to us every week. I think it's up to each one of us individually to start. I think we have to love ourselves, Alan, first. What do you think about that?
Well, like I said, we're in a classroom. Eventually, everyone will get there. Whether or not they're making wars, that's my feeling. Some people just take a longer time. Maybe we're graduating earlier than others. But, it's all a play. It's all a leela. It's all a drama. And it's all for the evolution of consciousness, whatever level. Yeah, there's some forces and places and beings that want to keep it at a low vibration because that's where they feel safe and powerful. But, once you graduate and realize that it's not about individual self, it's about the collective, that it's all in the flow, and we're here to help. We're here to change it, definitely. And that's our job, and that's our excitement, is to see the change. Other people don't want change. Like my mother, she says, she just wants every day to be the same as yesterday. Even though yesterday wasn't happy, she'd rather do that than go into the unknown. I say the unknown is where excitement is. It's where creation takes place. I mean, the unknown is the next second. I don't know what I'm going to say. I don't know what it's going to look. That's like, oh my God, the universe is an open system. And when you embrace the unknown and possibilities, things get more exciting. People become more alive. They become more creative. So that's our mission, but it might not be other people's mission. They're not ready. We've been through a cycle already, and these people are still, learning to read and write. I'm not saying we're better or worse than anyone, but we've done all that. We've played in the realms of the forgotten. Now we're playing in the realms of awakening or movement towards that. So, I don't know. Everyone's on their own path, and, we're all in this together and separately. So, I think it's in a way fine, and also we're here to make a difference. So yes.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Absolutely.
What's your next book about, Alan? Can you whet our appetites a little bit?
It's sort of what I said before. It's about how can these feelings manipulate reality, come into our heads, abduct people, and then return them without anyone knowing. How does that what do they know about the nature of reality that we don't? And I say it's about consciousness. They're able, it's sort of what Greta actually is already doing, using consciousness in a different way than we're using it. We say it's all conscious, right? Everything is conscious. That doesn't mean anything. It just means awareness. Is my theory, they use consciousness as an app, as an application. With application, you do different things. So I compare it to, you remember the old telephones? We're old enough, Kathleen Lee, and you remember when dial, and it was connected to the wall, and let's say we're coming from the future back to the 1960s and saying, I have a telephone that's not attached to the wall, that I can watch television on, that I could see what's happening in my home, that I could talk to anyone anywhere, wireless. I have this other phone that has an application that's much more unlimited than just being wired to the wall. So that's what I'm comparing the ET consciousness to. Our consciousness is just the phone wired to the wall. Well, it can't do anything else. It's just making us aware. They're coming in and say, I can get into your dreams. I can manipulate your thoughts. I can change your time frame because they know how to use consciousness the way we know how to use an iPhone, It's that comparison. I don't know if that really works, but we're just 1960s thinking all I can use my phone is calling someone else who has a wired phone, and that's it. That's all we can use consciousness for.
Yeah, we're missing the upgrades. We're missing the upgrades.
Conscious technology, because we're not seeing consciousness as an application where you could send and receive, you could transform time, you could bring it. Well, Greta's one of the people at the forefront where she is using consciousness as an app. Most people are saying, even Deepak Chopra, I interview him, and he says, it's just all consciousness. I say, Deepak, of course it's all consciousness. What's the application of consciousness? So that's what I'm trying to understand, the upgrade, exactly as you're saying, from like a 20th century concept of consciousness to how we start to use consciousness to manipulate time and space, to telepathically get into other people's heads, then get into ours. I'm saying Greta's our forefront of this, but that's where we're moving into as these beings of consciousness. So, but most people just look at, those people don't even know they're conscious. The people that do know they're conscious says, it's just all consciousness. What's the big deal? I say, what's the application there? So that's a sort of glimpse of that, including abductions and all that stuff. Yeah. So does that?
What would you say to the audience? And in your book, you alluded to the fact that you were discouraged from showing your abilities.
Right.
And my mother used to always tell me, don't tell anybody you can do these things because they're going to think you're crazy. So what would you say to people who have been taught that as well? Because there's so many people that can be awakened. What's and not have the fear.
What's really interesting about that question, and I'm thinking about me and Kathleen growing up in the same generation. We had those television shows. You remember, Kathleen? We had I Dream of Jeannie, Bewitched.
Oh my God, I loved them.
My Favorite Martian. Each one of those shows, you remember? Don't tell anyone you're a Martian. Don't tell anyone you're a genie
or witch. Hide it.
Really parallels what we went through, and it shows up in the 1960s media. Don't tell anyone you're from another planet. Isn't that weird, that parallel? I just thought of that when Greta asked that question. It's like, suppress the truth. What if you came out and said everyone, this guy's a Martian? I mean, it would be a whole different show, but and don't rock the boat. I mean, thank goodness there was an anti-war movement, because obviously people are saying we don't need to listen to the government. It's not like World War II where we're making the world safe for democracy. No, we're invading other countries because we want their economy or whatever it is that we invaded them for. It definitely wasn't communism. But so there's a change now where I think because of the internet, because we're not just watching television, we're interacting with television, people are more free. Like, right, growing up, they just talk to us. Here with computers, no, I'm online. I'm talking to people. They're interacting. They're asking questions. It's a different level of paradigm reality, which makes this moment in time so much different than that moment in time. So the question is, what do I make of people? Well, if the abilities are suppressed, some people just bury it, or some people know it's the Harry Potter syndrome that you just can't talk to the people that aren't wizards.
Exactly.
Your own tribe. And eventually you do find your own tribe because you resonate a different frequency and people come over and say, yeah, I had an out-of-body experience or something like that. And we start to, that's how you found Greta, right, Kathleen? And you start to resonate to people who start to bring out your abilities. So maybe there was a reason. Maybe I had to know and believe that I knew that I couldn't fit in. I didn't want to fit in, that I needed to find my own people. And we have found our own people. And I think there's a generation of people being born that are resonating with this higher possibility. I do believe that the Mayans were tracking these galactic movements, not because they were fascinated, but they were interested in certain portal frequencies that were open. Their calendar was more accurate than our calendar. And they had about 6 different calendars. They had a Venus calendar, they had a solar calendar, they had a moon calendar. But at some point, they were tracking the movements, and I think that there was a portal that was opening, and the high civilizations of the Mayans disappeared in about 830 AD. They built those temples and then they abandoned them. And I think there was a mass ascension that they were tracking with their calendars for the right frequency that opened the portal that let them go through and leave this dimension behind. Just like what the ghost dancers were doing at the Lakota. You know, the massacre of Wounded Knee happened because Lakota, they were being oppressed, but they started to do the ghost dance. And the ghost dance got them into this other dimension, and some of them were shot before they can get into this other dimension. But I was in South Dakota with Whitley Strieber, and Whitley said, don't you see that other dimension all around us? It was very interesting. Whitley saw the dimension that the ghost dancers went to. And I didn't see it, but I took Whitley's word for it. But that there are these dimensional frequency portals that become physicalized at certain moments in time, and there's another one opening now. In Carolyn Corey's movie A Tear in the Sky, you actually see this portal opening in the sky that these craft come through. So, you know, I think as this fifth dimensional doorway comes to us, we start to shift the frequency that will allow us, like J.J. Hurtak did. He met Metatron and Enoch, and he went to these higher dimensional spaces. And I think we're approaching that omega point. Let's call it that. Yes.
Okay. Carol?
We're going to, we have reached a part in our program, listeners, where the realm will come in. Alan has decided to stay and converse with the realm. We will take a short break, and when we'll return, let's hear what the realm has to say to Alan and to us. Please stick with us. We'll be right back. quote that we took from Alan's book this week was, in the final analysis, we must shift our notions about being an incidental aberration of a lifeless universe. Life might just be an emerging property of existence. We ourselves are part of the mystery that we are trying to solve. Realm, please give us your input.
Well, I think Alan did a wonderful job about what he said when he answered, addressed the issue of that quote. But we want to say also that he recognizes that life is everywhere, that everything is life. And we think his mission that he is doing throughout this reality is about developing a sense of oneness, which is what we are always saying is a definite means of striving for. So, Alan, I know you probably have received questions, but we want to ask you again. We think that you covered it in the first episode of this program, but could you address again your understanding and the importance of oneness?
Right. The importance of that idea, concept, or reality is that there's no separation between me and you or anyone watching. We are linked because consciousness is one thing. It's only the illusion that it's separate from the realms or each other. And we're working through the illusion of these individual egos to realize that we're really one organism. In my book, actually, I quote Bruce Lipton. I just mentioned Bruce Lipton. He says, we are not humans until we become humanity, which means we realize we're all connected to each other like different fingers on the hand. Each one of us contributes to that oneness, and we are really not humans until we realize the oneness of our connection. That's one thing.
Thank you. Yes, the oneness of the connection. There are many individuals here who want to keep separation, the illusion of separation. They feel that it is important to embrace that day by way of the realities that they create, which is one of religious beliefs for separation, economic beliefs, educational beliefs, cultural beliefs, familial beliefs that support us in the separation, which, as you stated before, is one of our lessons as humans, because we see ourselves as one with all as well. So that's why you will hear me use the pronoun we on occasions. But do you have any questions for me, Alan?
Yes, I do. I want to know, when you say realms, which realms are you talking about that this consciousness is coming from?
That's a very good question. This is how that happened. Greta, we were suggesting to her that we need to expand the teachings that we have been giving her. So she did this by way of starting the podcast called Shifting Impressions, where we are now. Because she knew that we were going to participate in this program, she asked us, what do we want to be called? Now, we as a collective got the idea of we would be called the realm of beings. But now I've got to explain this to you and the audience. When we say that we are the realm of beings, there are many of us. Many of us. Let's take, we always call it the Abraham Collective with Esther Hicks. You see, we are part of them and they are part of us. When you talk about Daryl Anka and the individual that manifests the discussions through his physical vehicle, we consider ourselves part with him as well, because we're seeing ourselves as one because of the tasks. Now, in your book, Daryl Anka talks about that he was presented with this individual that he saw in front of him, and that individual who had a body form talked through him through telepathic means, and they're on the same frequency. So he started talking about frequencies. Well, we're doing the same work, like Cryon. We're doing the same work, and there are Seth. We're all the same. There is no difference between us. The only thing that you can look at and say, okay, maybe we're different from that, is because each one of us brings a different message to Earth. We're bringing different messages. We have different responsibilities. Some of us just talk about the creation of reality in terms of what is that law? The law of attraction. That is one thing to talk about, the law of attraction. Each one of us has a different responsibility. We know that the entity that speaks through Daryl Anka, known as Bashar, also works with scientists here, humanoid scientists, and gives them information about helping them to add and upgrade the science that is here on this planet. We are scientists as well. And we are here to assist the world in medical situations. We are more medical than anything else, is our purpose here, medically. We speak through Greta, talking about creation of reality, but our basic basis is medical. You were going to ask a question.
Can you tell us some medical secrets or medical keys that can help us with our physical body?
Well, one thing is to understand that you have more than one body. You see the physical body, so you think that that's it. And you think, many people believe that they are their body, you see. So what the teaching is that you are not your body, as it is that the body is a vehicle for you to deal with this reality or realities that you are creating here. But there are many bodies, you see, for every system that is in your physical body. So most people address the body when it lacks, how do you want to say it? It's experiencing a temporary dis-ease in it, you call it, are treating only it. It is important to treat the other bodies that are connected to it. For instance, if you're having a challenge, you've created a challenge with your digestive system. We not only just work on your digestive system inside your physical body, but we go to the subtle body for the digestive. There is a subtle digestive body. There is a chemical body. So we're training people not only to look at your physical body, but to look at all the other bodies that are attached, that are supporting it. You see, the physical body contains it, but each subtle body supports the part of that physical body, you see.
Yeah.
So there's a working on both, not just one. That is one thing we can bring.
No, that's interesting. Yeah, I think you should write a book that describes all the different bodies and lay out the treatments.
Yes, we are doing many things. Like we're able to see, we're teaching Greta, and she's teaching others. Like one thing is Greta had to learn how to go remote. But when she goes remote, it's not just so much remote viewing. Because see, when she goes out, it's not just to see something, it's to deal with those beings that you cannot see, that are present. Yes. Some of them are present that are wonderful, you see. But then she also deals with those that might pose a slight challenge, you see.
Yeah.
But those individuals, you've heard her speak of the dark angels and dark dragons. The only reason why she has dragons, she loves dragons. This woman loves dragons.
Every week she channels the realms, huh? Is this
every Friday, the last 30 minutes of the show. But I'm one of the people that, she's been training. And I call myself in part of the first cohort. And so it's funny because when I saw how I met Greta in my house, she wasn't there. She came remotely, like they were describing. And when she removed all of the visitors that were there, it's instantaneously, I said, wow, I want to do that. I saw me in Greta. And so I think I've been with Greta now about 13 years. But at first, my family thought that there was, it scared them, because they didn't see what I could see. And when I saw these earthbounds standing right in front of me and they're saying, she looks so young. How old are you? And these were Revolutionary War soldiers. And that's all I kept saying is, she looks so young. How old are you? And it was just, you just stand there. It's like you said before on the previous show, you don't know how to react. And you're saying, don't you see this? And, you kind of feel like a stereotype in the old Charlie Chan movie, like in the cartoon, you just want to run, but you don't know where to go. But the realm said last week, show no fear. And that's one thing that I've learned, being a facilitator. I do the medical, okay? I'm doing the medical stuff, but sometimes, doing the medical stuff, I have to do some of the other things that Greta was explaining as well. So, right now I prefer the medical. I like showing people, supporting them and healing themselves, because that's basically what this is, what we do. We're not healers. We don't do the work. When she did your facilitation work last week,
Yeah.
She went remote to you, and she basically, I was surprised that she did like almost a full facilitation on you right there on the show. But that's an example of what we do. That's an example of what we do.
Amazing. She's just fantastic. And you're learning how to do that, you're saying, Kathleen, right?
Yes, I work with I work with people that have Parkinson's disease. So my focus is on neurological diseases. Greta does like people that have cancer, you name it. She works with them at the realm. But we spend most of our time coming up with protocols. So it's staying focused, and I am not Greta. My name is Kathleen Lee, the original. So a lot of the stuff that Greta does, I just call myself I don't want to say ET in transit, but I mean a transformational specialist remote energy worker, and that's a big mouthful. But I went through where people were looking at me kind of strangely, but my mother used to always say to me, because I'd say, Mom, that's not what happened. When you were there, you said this, and she said that, and this happened, and you had that on. And my mother would go, but you weren't there, daggone it. I said, Mom, in my mind, I was there. I didn't realize I was going remote then. And she would just get so mad and frustrated at me. She said, go to your damn room. So I go to my damn room, and I'm sitting there and going, what did I do wrong? It goes back to the other conversations. It's like someone just pulls a Band-Aid off your eyes, and you could just see everything, Carol. You just see it. You just experience it.
Well, maybe we could bring the round through on a show she's doing on the Monday, the 17th. Okay?
That sounds good to me. But yeah, so I see that I work with the realm 3 days a week. Actually, 4 days. That's what I do. But it's just a different calling, Alan. Alan, it's a different thing. So, Carol, you want to see if the realm is back? Because Greta needs to unmute her mic.
I don't see them yet. I'm hoping they come up. Here we go. They're coming back. That's good. Alan, I would like to add that Greta does also, and the realm also works with the emotional body, because that was how I was led into meeting with her and studying under her for the past 7 years.
Okay.
There's also something we talk about on our podcast frequently, known as mental equivalencies. And we reference a couple of books that you might even be familiar with. Louise Hay's You Can Heal Yourself. And there's another gentleman, Jacques Martel, who has a huge book, The Encyclopedia of Ailments and Diseases. And literally any single ailment or physical or even mental discomfort you might have, it is a way for you to look into your unconscious and figure out where it's stemming from and how you can change it and heal it. So That's also part of what Greta and the Realm does. And Realm, you're back with us, I see.
Yes, we didn't know that we were gone.
Okay.
And then we asked, talked to Greta. She opened up her eyes and saw that we were in another ethos.
One last question. The realms is what can you tell us as a message for humanity at this point in time? What is your message?
Alan, that one message that you are saying, we say it every week. Every week we say it. And I'm so glad that you asked us to say it again. We believe that in order for this humanity to move itself into a reality of peace and joy and unconditional love, and to embrace all the parts of the universe that as oneness, that it would be to love yourself unconditionally. It must begin with the individual. From the individual, it moves into the collective. But that is our biggie, as you would say. Each person to love themselves unconditionally so that they can even begin to understand how to love the next person unconditionally. And then it spreads, as you said, in collective consciousness. There you go.
Thank you for that. I have another question about extraterrestrials coming to the planet. You have 3 minutes, so just when will they physically arrive?
They're really here, Alan. Many are here. It's just that right now, because individuals think of, let me say this, you know, you have sight, you have smell, you have taste as humans, and I think you have 2 other things that hold you into this reality that you create of illusion, you see. So, therefore, if you can't reach out and touch the next individual, if you see an orb floating through your house, it's not that you're going to run up and touch it, but you can see orbs. If you've seen orbs in your house, orbs are individuals. They have consciousness. They have unconsciousness. They think. They know. So those people who have opened up their minds to see orbs in their houses are just beginning to touch bases with that. It's not that you're going to see a flying saucer go whizzing by. There are individuals here right now that you can see. There are individuals that they come in all kinds of shapes and sizes and look in different ways, but you've got to take the blinders off, open your mind, and not be afraid, and then you can see who's here. But, Alan, many different types of species are here. Some more high vibrational than others, but nonetheless, they're here. You see. And you've seen some of them, Alan.
Thank you. It's been great sharing this time with all of you and your audience and having a really nice, beautiful exchange of energy, information, and support. That's what we need. People looking for this kind of support. And thank you, I feel honored to have been a guest and be with you and all.
Quote.
Yes, the meaning of equality in the universe. And don't forget to check out Gretta and Alan on the 17th on Cosmic Conversations. So until we create to see each other again, I remain sincerely yours, Kathleen Lee, the original, and Greta, Carol, in the realm of beings, and Alan, we'll have to have you back again.
Anytime. Next time I could talk about remote viewing. Well, you're already doing it, but we can talk about the process of right brain awareness.
That'd be great.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Once again, thanks for joining us at Shifting Impressions, Conversations with the Realm of Beings on TransformationTalkRadio.com. As you have explored today's creation of reality experience with the realm and me, Greta, each of you is being supported by us in further developing the understanding that you are not just an individual existing in linear time and space, but a multi-dimensional force of infinite possibilities who is connected to all. So begin to create the realities you want. Join us every Friday at 8 a.m. Pacific Time and 11 a.m. Eastern Time on Shifting Impressions at TransformationTalkRadio.com. So long until we create each other again next Friday.